The views expressed on the following program are designed to amplify those of the speaker and not necessarily those of KAAM, DJRD Broadcasting, or its sponsors.
Today's real estate market moves fast and leaves no room for hesitation or lengthy contemplation. You need a real estate agent who knows you very well, who knows what you need and what you want. Seniors in Motion real estate specialists Dan Borland and John Cowan are agents you want in your corner, whether you're looking to buy or sell. They know you because they're just like you. Dan and John know real estate and they know the market. And because of their 30-plus years of experience, they know the questions to ask to get to the core of what you want. And now, here with your home, your choice, Dan Borland and John Cowan.
Big John. Big John.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Borland.
Yeah, John Cowan with you.
Your home, your choice here on Wednesday afternoon, our normal spot. Talking a little bit about real estate and all sorts of other things that encompass real estate. Right, John?
Well, it is a big subject. And, Dan, what we're going to touch on today is a special opportunity for us. We've not had this particular guest here on the show for a while, so we're looking forward, folks, to having Lawana dance with Spectrum Properties, more specifically Meadowstone Place in Dallas, an independent living community. And when we have, the middle part of the show, we're going to have Lawana come on. We're going to talk about some housing options, Dan, that we always like to touch on.
That's right.
As education. Folks, if you haven't been to one of these sort of communities, you don't have a clue.
No.
And we're going to help you with that today. So,
as we say, it's not your mom and dad's nursing home by any stretch of the imagination. So don't put that out of your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us for our second and third segment, and we'll discuss that more in depth, and hope we can give you some answers. And if you have a question about it, give us a call here. Studio number is 972-445-0770.
Or if you're outside the Metroplex, you can call in at 877-272-5226. And Dan, we had a call last week after our show from a listener, and it's typical of the sort of calls that we get.
That it is.
Don't know for sure if you can help in this situation, but So what happened on that particular call is something common, unfortunately, and that is someone has passed away. One of the spouses passed away. So there's a home, and maybe there's another home. Okay, so maybe there's two different properties. And so, folks, these are the sort of things that happen. It's life, and we address these issues as well as we can on the show to give you an idea of how can you be prepared if something like this happens. And where do we go with this? Well, so the story unfolds, of course, as they always do. And what if the house needs some work? Can the house still be sold in this market? Okay, the normal questions, folks, we all have them. No matter what Dan and I talk about every week, the questions are still there. And so
we see a lot of clients that think everybody watches HGTV. I mean, that's my wife does, and your wife does, and Lawana probably does too. Everybody does think, it's got to be Taj Mahal up. It's got to be model home ready to put it on the market. No, it does not. It may affect the sales price. Yes, that may happen. But no, properties sell all the time in all sorts of conditions. So don't overly concern yourself. Talk to us about that, and we'll give you some input and some suggestions of what you may want to do. Maybe you can't afford to do that. That's okay. The properties will still sell.
I was in that conversation, with the listener. We talked for several minutes, and then came the bada bada bing.
Yeah.
She said, well, and I said, if I have an idea where the property is, I could maybe give you a little more information. She said, well, it's just right across the state line in Oklahoma. I went, Oklahoma? And she said, well, can you help us there? And I said, we can in this sense. We will make some phone calls. Right. We will find a senior real estate specialist. We will find someone that we feel comfortable recommending to the family.
That's right.
And then you guys can take it, from there.
Take it from there.
We'll be happy to stand on the sideline. If that doesn't work out, we'll step back in. But Dan and I are licensed folks, in the state of Texas, and really, it's more efficient to turn that over to someone else who's right there in that market. In working through that, after I got off the phone, I made a phone call or two, and actually,
and you found a nice gentleman.
I really did, and so so Jim, if you're listening, Mr. Jim McWhirter, Jim's with Remax in the Oklahoma City area, and Jim's a pretty unique kind of guy. Dan. He's a senior real estate specialist. He's a realtor, but Jim has actually been a builder for years.
That's what you said, yeah.
And he also has built senior communities and has ownership of some senior communities in the Oklahoma City area.
And that's a cool perspective, I'm sure, that he brings to the table.
Well, and so look at the passion, Dan. Look at how far some take doing what we do.
That's right.
Okay, to try to help people. And so, again, with Lawana here today, we're going to hear about an independent community here and what they do, and all of us are trying to do to help, one of the biggest segments of our population.
And it's only getting
we ain't
larger.
going away.
No.
Okay.
No, we're living longer.
Yeah. So let's touch on a couple of things real quick. We always try to touch on what's trending, folks, and tell you what's going on the real estate world. Real quickly, Dan and I did an open house last weekend for one of our senior clients. In fact, they will also be moving into
Spectrum Properties.
Spectrum Properties, a senior community. And it was interesting, the mix of people, Dan, that we had. Dan and I were both there.
It was very eye-opening, actually. Surprising to me.
Well, I did a report afterwards for our client, and we had
He likes reports, folks. He really does.
Well, I think everybody likes to see on paper, Dan, because it's hard. An owner's not there, right?
That's right.
So they'd like to know who came through my house. What'd they say? How'd that go?
That's right.
Well, we had 12 groups that came through the house.
Which is a great number. We
during
had a good
a 3-hour
response.
period, yeah. And it was almost, folks, a 50-50 mix between 50-plus and I'll say mid-40s to the late 20s.
Right.
Kind of that millennial group right there. And so it was interesting comments because, Dan, it was a single-story house with 2,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms or a study. It's something that could have gone for everyone.
Sure.
Everyone could have made that work.
The floor plan is a very, very workable floor plan.
Yeah. So anyway, so who's out there looking at houses, folks? You and me and Lawana and Dan and Deb and all kinds of people, okay?
And one of the couples I know that I visited with, they were up from Austin.
Well,
They're moving to Metroplex from Austin.
I talked to one from Chicago. I talked to one from Oklahoma.
That's right.
So we had 3 parties that were from out of the area.
Out of the area.
Okay. So that's another testament. And, I've got to tell you, because I put it in my notes in my report, why were they here?
I don't know what you said.
Would you just read my report?
I think I missed that phrase. That he's putting me on the spot, ladies and gentlemen.
What do we?
They want to be closer
to
to the kids.
Exactly.
They want to be close.
Right.
I knew what the answer was.
Yeah.
Because that is the normal answer that we get, John.
Right. All 3 of those that were from out of the area, 2 from out of state, were coming here to be close to the kids.
That's right.
Okay. And was it the kids that were really the draw or the grandkids? I'm not going to go there, but
I think we can probably answer that one, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's an okay answer.
But folks, that's what's going on. So, it's okay to go out and look. And look at options, okay? And was that the right house for every one of those people who walked in? No. They all had their different wants and needs and specifics and all of that. But you don't know until you walk.
You can't. And that's why if we're working on the buyer side, that's why we show properties. Is you can see pictures, and the pictures are all great, but you don't see it in total until you walk through the front door and have the visual of the house itself. And that's what these folks were doing. And they were getting an idea of what's available. Now, if and some of them were 3, 4, 5 months out, The whole market's going to change by then. It was different 4 or 5 months ago. It's going to be different in another 4 or 5 months. So what's available now is not going to be there, but they have an idea, and that's good for them.
And it's what we say, Dan. It's okay to go look way in advance
Sure.
because you need to. You need to know what the options are, even though they'll change. But I mean, the point is, you need to start. And start getting a good feel for what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That's exactly
Don't
right,
just
yeah.
read the headlines. Get involved. Talk to us. Make a phone call, and go out and have some fun. Look at some of these houses on the market. Look at some of the independent communities. Look at different options so you know. Dan, a couple of points I wanted to throw out. This is not necessarily folks relevant to all of us every day, but you need to know what's going on across the country. You need to know what's going on in the housing industry because it does affect you if and when you go to sell. It could affect you right now if you've got a mortgage. To know what's going on in the industry. We have about 9 million people still in the market, Dan, in the country that have not refinanced that should, based on the banking information, the mortgage information that's available. They're paying too much on their mortgage. Okay?
Well, they've got a high interest rate.
Yep. And now that's the bad news. The good news is, fortunately, the delinquency rate, folks, has gone down dramatically, okay? So more and more people have been able to make their payments, maybe because they've got more equity, maybe because things have stabilized a little bit, in the economy. But, we have to watch all these things to kind of know where the trend is going. July's foreclosure starts. What does a foreclosure start mean? The mortgage companies define that as someone who has started
The process.
missing some payments, okay?
Right.
They have missed possibly 2-3 payments. That number is 12% lower than this time last year. We are at the second lowest monthly total in 10 years.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I've read some articles on that.
That's good news. So the foreclosure inventory is down 20% from 2015. So just in the last year, we've dropped 20% in the total inventory.
And that's a good thing, though, John.
It absolutely.
It's a fantastic thing that people are making their mortgages. They're still building their equity, and they're able to live in their home.
Well, and Dan, we get asked all the time, so if I was going to put the house on the market, where am I going to go? Well, why aren't there more houses available? Well, here's one of the reasons.
That's right.
Okay.
They're staying.
If foreclosures are down, that takes out a lot of houses out of the inventory that we've had for several years.
That counts in our available inventory to sell.
Correct. And now they may be available in an as-is condition. They may be available because an investor has bought it and fixed it up.
Rehabbed it.
It might be next door to you in your neighborhood. And it may have an effective age. Effective meaning it's been remodeled and renovated to the point where it's not the same age as the actual age of the home.
That's right.
It's a much more current version of that. But anyway, the foreclosure numbers are now back to what we called our housing boom level. So back to 2006, 2007, we did not have foreclosure issues.
No.
And then we went into our recession. And so anyway, we cleared all that out. So that's part of the reason we don't have some of the houses out there to work with. I'm going to throw a subject out there, and then when Lawana comes on here in a few moments, we're going to talk about some of this.
Now, do you expect me to catch this subject if you're throwing it out? Hello.
You just threw the
I threw the
microphone across the
microphone,
room.
yeah,
So,
Boom.
The 30% rule, okay, if you were to look at your housing cost, when it comes to our housing cost, how much is too much? And Dan, it doesn't matter whether we're talking to our kids, our grandkids, or us on a senior on fixed income. How much is too much? How much should we be paying for our house? Housing cost, and we're going to talk about that again in more detail. But almost 12 million households in our country, as of last year, are spending greater than 50% of their available income for their housing cost. And that is not a good thing.
No, that's
the
a
rule
little
is
high.
no more than 30%.
And John, what all? And I'll ask the question. We can talk about this later. But what all makes up that 30%? I mean,
Well,
what are the categories? And
that's what a lot of us miss. So we need to break that down.
We can do that, and we'll do that later. But we're up against a break. We're getting talked to by Mr. Jack. So we'll be right back after these fine words.
Dan and John are more than mere realtors. They are trusted advisors, not only about matters of real estate, but also about the issues that seniors find attached to their real estate. Years of experience have left them with a wealth of knowledge about so many of the issues that go along with selling or buying a home. But if they don't have the answer to your particular question, they surely know someone who does. House need a few repairs before going on the market? Dan and John will connect you with a network of professionals who can help. Have a question about mortgages? You will certainly find a loan officer among their network who will answer your questions. When listening to the media often leaves you more confused than ever, KAAM's Dan and John will explain things in a way that you understand. Whether you are looking to buy, sell, or both, call Dan and John today at 214-987-2438 and make our guys your trusted advisors.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Borland.
And John Cowan with you.
Your home, your choice here this afternoon. Glad you're with us with our special guest, Miss Lawana Dance of Spectrum Properties, but more specifically, Meadowstone Senior Living. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we've had the opportunity, I guess, maybe about 3 times. This might be the 4th time. We try to catch her once a year, folks, to get her in here. But how we have met and our relationship for Dan and I with Lawana and the Spectrum Property folks.
That's right, the whole group.
We've spoken at the different communities, and you guys put on a seminar, if you want, to where people could come in, look at the communities. What is this place? How does this work? But what you did, you called it like moving on. And so you had us as realtors, you had maybe the moving company, you had an estate sale person, you've had different parties, to the total process. And Lawana, that's got to be what Dan and I see and what you see every day, some of the most complicated issues. How do I do this? How do I make that transition? Mm-hmm. And then where would I go if I did make the transition? So give us your definition of what an independent senior living community is today.
Well, there are many different ones. I came to Meadowstone in one reason that it is what I call an individual independent community. Operates a little bit differently than the norm in that we do not include meals. We include breakfast. You have an option then to have meals if you want them. They're all available. If not, then you cook in your kitchen. Ours was built as condos, so they have full kitchens. You've had a housekeeper for maybe 40 years. You want to bring her with you. We let you do that. If you don't have that, we have one available. Our community, I've seen in my experience, is an outside community being built as condominiums. You cannot beat sunshine and fresh air to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And in a community that was more like a hotel, I've seen just a complete difference in my seniors and my people that are there. They're just happy. They're out. We're very pet friendly, out walking their dogs. One of the gentlemen that you guys moved in has 2 cats, and he got cat sitters that those residents just love them, and so that's very different about ours right there. I call it very independent because in being healthy, they're walking, they're exercising, they're doing so many things.
And you also have gardening opportunities if they would like so.
I lead the garden club. We are fortunate to have 3 master gardeners that live there, and because it was built as condos, we do have little yards, so they can plant in their own yard. We have a vegetable garden. We do a spring and a fall garden. We have an herb garden for the ones that cannot dig anymore. That we come up, they're called garden walkers, and they make sure the sprinklers came on in the right place to make sure everything gets sprinkled.
How about that?
We come up with all kinds of things.
That's good. I don't have that at my house.
I don't either.
Me neither.
I've got the sprinkler system guy coming to my house in the morning because I don't think it's working right. So
well, they keep that sprinkler guy on his toes. Okay, yes, they do.
That's good.
Lawana, when you have a community like Meadowstone Place, and first off, tell folks where it's located, but also, folks, it used to be apartments, okay, and it has been converted into condos for this community, elevators, a little history on that, and because again, it's almost like you're up in the trees, okay? It's
yes,
a two-story,
I call it my tree stand. Yes, the little tree
older
house.
apartment complex that have been completely renovated and elevators and made to fit. And that's one of the uniqueness.
It is very unique.
And Dan, we've got 3 clients here recently, 2 that are going to Meadowstone Place and one that's going to go to Preston Place, one of your other communities. But let's go ahead maybe and introduce Park Place and Preston Place, in addition to some of the differences just between your 3 communities.
Well, we are all owned by Spectrum, operate all the same way, and we are in Plano with Preston Place and Park Place in Bedford. So we talked this morning about increasing traffic. It's all about location, So when I sit down with someone too, especially with their family, if they're closer to George Bush, Plano at Old Shepherd may be the place that's more convenient for them. So I feel like we have a lot of area covered in where people live, because traffic's only going to get worse.
And your location is?
Well, I am on Stone Canyon, 10410 Stone Canyon, in between Walnut Hill and Royal on the west side of 75.
Yeah.
Great little area.
Great location. Presbyterian Hospital, close to downtown, North Park Mall. And I mean, that's, all your offices are about no more than 20 minutes just about from us in Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly.
The way that they're located with with Bush and Central and, all the ways of getting around town today. But Lawana, what are some of the questions that you think are probably most prevalent when someone first comes in to look at a community like this?
Well, to kind of go on a lead of your story you had on the person from Hugo, when a spouse does pass away, there's a house. We sit down and really look at what the expenses are at living at home. It is a mortgage, it's taxes, it's insurance. Swimming pools are a big expense.
Yeah, we know that.
That's right. Your utilities, the landscaper. In sometimes the situation with the death of a spouse, that person is not only overwhelmed, maybe taking care of that person, but then on top of it, to think about that house is just overwhelming. So that is one of the things I do sit down and look at, all those expenses with them. I think from there, socialization is key. And so, I do feel that I'm good at listening to what you need and finding people like you. I know that you are going to help from the real estate end of anything that anybody has questions about. I do get asked a lot about. I've not done anything on my house for years. That is a definite question that they worry about that.
Right. And that's not an unusual comment. It's
yes.
Really not. We get it ourselves.
So I do, because of you, I can assure them that someone can help you here, and houses are all sellable no matter what.
I saw a home. I was doing a market analysis, what we call it, folks, if we're looking at homes in your neighborhood that are comparable, relevant to yours. And so I found a home that was basically pristine, as well maintained, I think, as an individual could maintain it, but nothing had changed since the 70s. Okay? So is that a problem?
There's that mid-century
not necessarily.
There
Okay.
we go.
Mid-century.
That's mid-century. Yes.
Maybe it had some orange shag. Maybe it had some green appliances. Maybe it had. But
did it have yellow countertops? Or gold, harvest gold countertops?
Harvest gold, or gold dust. We used to call it the little speckle of glittery gold in the white.
Yeah.
But folks, the house was well maintained, though.
Yeah.
And so structurally, mechanically, it was sound. So can a home like that be appreciated if you put it on the market? Absolutely.
Sure
Okay.
can.
Well, you have to take some consideration that it can't be valued the same as a house next door that has been completely renovated, of course. But those are the choices. Those are the options for buyers.
That's right.
Right? And so that's why when we had 12 groups come through an open house this weekend, they were all over the board.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Some of them said, well, I'd like more updates. Some of them said, oh my gosh, I like it just like it is, whatever. So I think, Lawana, you probably see the extrapolation of what we see, but
Exactly.
then they come in and say, well, how big is it? How am I going to put all my stuff in it?
Exactly.
Well, do you need all your stuff? Those are the questions Dan and I started having with them when we started talking about if we start selling if we're going to sell the house. Where will you move? What would you like to take with you? Well, all of it. Really? Why?
Why? Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
Well, I really don't need that. I don't need that. So we all try to look at some of these things, but
Yeah, exactly.
what are some of the other things?
And from that, I think looking to sell your things, and what I feel like really works, if you put one thing in each room that is very personal to you, that makes you smile. That's the thing you want in no matter where you move. It may be your grandchild's rocker that they had when they were little. But
brings the good memories.
It brings the good memories. Yeah. That's what home is all about, are those few things that make you feel good.
And speaking of home, the options that you have, the size of the condos,
right.
the apartments, whatever you want to call it. You've got one bedroom, you got two bedrooms, you got three bedrooms.
Exactly.
Okay? And people can get a lot of
Oh
footage
yes, at ours that's what we're known for primarily is to the space. They start at 833 square feet and go up to almost 1,700. So if you're in a very large house, let's say a 4,000 square foot house, the one I have that's 1,500 has 5 walk-in closets. Unbelievable.
Wow. I don't guess I've seen that floor plan yet.
Yeah, it's just, they're the best floor plans. And you're talking about age of things. My building itself is 42 years old. So when someone says that, I do say you have to see. You have to come in and see how Spectrum keeps our properties.
Folks, that's called the actual age, the effective age.
Exactly. The effective age.
Right,
exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
The appraisers call it that. Okay, so when an appraisal is done on a home, the appraiser has got to notate what the effective age of that home is, because the actual age may not have a flipping thing to do with
right. Exactly, it doesn't. Exactly, it's what you see when you come in. I will tell you that the color of paint. I have so many people ask about changing colors. Yet in my entire time there, I've had 2 people paint a wall, so it works for everybody. I have a daughter of one of the residents that retired and went back to study interior design that has redone the closet. They're just unbelievable to show you in a 1-bedroom what you can do in a closet, that I can refer her out to, because closet space for women, we got to have our closet.
Yes, you have to have your closet.
Full kitchens, when you've
full
got
kitchens.
Microwaves, when you've got
your washer and dryers in all of ours.
And
that is a
dryers,
big yes,
and possibly a little patio if you're on the second floor, or a little walkout yard area. That's what a lot of people aren't catching, Dan. They're not realizing that something like that's available.
And we've just had a client move in, and the condo she's coming out of was only just a smidgen larger than the apartment she's moving into.
Correct.
And it's laid out very well. Nice size kitchen, bedroom, closets. It's a nice. Other than she moved from a 2-bedroom, she had probably moved all her stuff in.
Well, here's one of the big things. And now, instead of walking across a parking lot with her clothes, for the washer,
correct.
to the laundromat.
That's exactly right.
In her community now, it's 2 steps away from the kitchen.
That's right.
Exactly.
And she doesn't have to put coins in it.
That's right. Exactly. There you go.
It was so funny because I was talking one day and she said, it's, let's see, how many coins was it? 17 coins, I think, to do a load.
She did.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So there's a living expense now.
Exactly.
That's
gone.
Right?
Exactly.
So,
that's gone.
You know what? Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, folks, we're going to ask Lawana a couple other questions, more specifically about why would someone make this choice? What are some of the things that are going on in people's heads out there? Okay. We'll be right back.
Dan and John are more than mere realtors. They are trusted advisors, not only about matters of real estate, but also about the issues that seniors find attached to their real estate. Years of experience have left them with a wealth of knowledge about so many of the issues that go along with selling or buying a home. But if they don't have the answer to your particular question, they surely know someone who does. House need a few repairs before going on the market? Dan and John will connect you with a network of professionals who can help. Have a question about mortgages? You will certainly find a loan officer among their network who will answer your questions. When listening to the media often leaves you more confused than ever, KAAM's Dan and John will explain things in a way that you understand. Whether you are looking to buy, sell, or both, call Dan and John today at 214-987-2438 and make our guys your trusted advisors.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Borland.
And John Cowan with you.
Your home, your choice, with our special guest this afternoon, Miss Lawana Dance of Meadowstone Senior Living. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yes, welcome.
Lawana, we were talking off the air, but who are some of the typical people coming through the door, and how would they come and look at your community? I mean, they have to make an appointment? Can they just walk in? Tell us how easy that is.
It is. It is so easy to come in any way that you want to come in. And going back to one of my favorite stories, I had a lady. Her name is Lena. Her husband had passed away. She had been his caregiver for about 7 years, I think. First phone call I got, we went through many tears and crying, and I've got to live near my son. That's where I've got to be. So when I asked her, and Lena lived in McKinney, so our area of Dallas was not as familiar, she thought, to her. So when I asked her where her son lived, he lives at Preston and Royal, which is right behind me. So I could solve that objection right there. And a few days later, called me and just knew her house wouldn't sell. She was one that had not done anything for 7 years with her house, with her husband there, and it sold in 2 days. And so moving in, her children she had a son there. Her daughter was in Istanbul. Okay, teaching. So, wanting mom to be where she could be around people again and coming back. And my favorite comments is that my mom is back and even more. She got in, she got involved. She has to set her time, and she will tell me, I do too much. Wait a minute, I need to stop doing this because I need time to do this. So our residents there are just, they do all their, I know everybody can say that, but the camaraderie, the friends, the family, they just are amazing at taking care of each other and realizing that a lot of them come from the same place that someone moving in is. Selling your house is very hard when you've been in it 25
sure.
plus years or something. They all know that. And so I never honestly worry about the resident when I get in there. I have an incredible group that will reach out to them. It's always a neighbor, taking them under their wing to eat lunch, to come to an activity, everything like that. They're just phenomenal. And so I think when you walk into ours, it's not always what four walls look like. It's who is in there. And I want people to come as many times as they can. And I just give them a resident. They go with them to eat. They look at their apartment sometimes so that they can honestly feel comfortable.
And then they have an immediate
there.
Friend, right?
Then they
right
have a friend, exactly.
They're there.
Exactly,
yeah.
They have someone. But coming, we do seminars as the ones that you had done. That helps a lot when someone is, looking at, oh my gosh, how do I downsize? How do I do this? How am I going to organize? Where am I going to find a mover that's good? So those seminars are so helpful. At this point now, we do want to make sure too in life and in seniors they eat well. They do eat. That is a big concern with all of us. We do a cooking demo once a month now with us and invite anyone that wants to come to show the abilities of our chefs and what they can do.
John and I can attest. The chefs are very, very good, folks.
Yes.
You're not will not be disappointed, I don't think, because we've been fortunate. We've been invited over for a couple of meals, doing presentations, and the food's really good.
This isn't fast food.
No, it's not fast food, and it's not institutional food.
Yes,
the chef there.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah. So,
and that's a big issue with
it is
with
a
folks.
big issue. It is exactly.
What's the food like?
Exactly. That's one of the top questions. So in setting them back there with a resident that they can honestly ask, the chefs come out to talk to them. We're also where it's not included. So it is separate, but we have diabetics, gluten-free, people like that. And what I tell them, it's all about communication. We have a set menu, but talking to that chef by 10 o'clock that morning and you don't like green beans, he'll pop up with something else. So all about communication and that.
I mean, there's picky eaters like me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's about choice.
It's
right?
about choice.
So folks,
we give them choices.
What you may think is that these things are priced out of your realm because it's all inclusive. It's this, it's that, and just again the flexibilities, almost like a menu. You can go in there and you can say, Lawana, I feel comfortable cooking for myself, right?
Exactly.
And so you've given me a full kitchen. Why do I need to go? You don't, okay?
Right?
But
and
there if you want.
Exactly, that's their option. So it's wonderful about our properties that they do give them that option. I also tell them, our chef delivers their food. We deliver for free, which is, very unusual. Not only is it free, but the chef is in their apartment, seeing that they need
Wait a minute. Can I give him my address and he'll deliver to my
I'll
house?
ask him.
Well, that'd be cool.
So they're, they have a finger on these people. So they know our chefs. I mean, besides our employees, we have an incredible team. We truly have a team that understands and is there for all of them. But, if for some reason they are not eating, the communication comes back to the office so that the manager could deal with that if need be.
It truly is a community. Okay.
It is.
And folks, this is what I think Dan and I strive to do, whether we're on the show, whether we're sitting in your living room talking to you, whether we're speaking someplace, is to let you know these sort of options exist, because most of us haven't seen these things if we're not looking for them, right?
Right.
If you've not had a need to find a place for mom or dad or someone else, a friend, and you don't know these...
Or yourself.
The baby boomers.
Yeah. And so what is it, Lawana, by 2050?
Yes, 2050, half the population will be seniors.
Yeah.
So I think in ours, we have seen a younger age. The boomers are coming. I have divorcees that are in there, just single individuals. The gentleman that you moved into moved out of his house. That population is the boomers are totally different than the other in activities even, and they still work, a lot of them. So it is a different crowd coming in, and so you have to be changing.
You still have residents that are actually still working, right?
Oh, yes, I do.
So there you go, folks. It's not just a retirement place.
It's not. It's
an active adult
55 or older.
Plus.
Oh, but you card them at the door, don't you?
That's right. Some of them, you got to look at them.
Well, we qualify. We can show her
more than qualify.
Yeah.
But Lawana, in the next few minutes or so, what are some of the things you think would be important for someone to hear who hasn't been to a community like this? What are some of the points you think would be important for them to hear that you see more and more people come in with some misconceptions?
I do think, I hate to use the word nursing home, but I think you have to come visit. I am a show me person. I am such a show me person that's kind of their thinking in the back of their head. So you got to go and see it, come in for whatever. It may be dropping in, make an appointment, come to a seminar, come to lunch. And I think from there, just prompting the questions, since our residents are so involved, they will ask a lot of questions. But coming in to look in, with our real estate market, you have to have a place to go. You guys know this, if your house sells. So you need to plan ahead. You're talking about that. My waiting list is tremendous, but at the same time, I don't want that to turn anyone away, because you may be able to move in tomorrow, but someone in Indiana's house hasn't sold and they can't get here. So it's a juggling act, but it works very well. And so to look ahead, to really see what they are, they're only going to change because of the population coming. I mean, as in not change, but there's going to be more coming in. So again, as best you can educate yourself on what we are, what this animal is just amazing, and it works. And where we are, we're so centrally located with North Park, with the bus, with the train, and one thing too, we have our driver's been with the company 16 years, and in all this traffic, he knows every back road there is. So even if you drive and you move in from Indiana, ride that bus a week to see how to get there without getting on 75, maybe if you don't want to.
So speaking of that, because one of our clients sold their car before they moved there, they could have kept it, but decided, gosh, what are my options? So what are those options?
Those are, and we
So
do
drivers there.
exactly.
So if
we
they
have
need to go to the grocery
transportation.
store or doctor or church or whatever.
We do. We go. You know, you hit the grocery stores and Target, Walmart. We hit the doctors. We have a 10-mile radius of going, which is out of the norm. Usually it's 5. We all go down even to UT Southwest Medical. So we do the major hospitals: Medical City, Presby, Baylor downtown, and UT Southwest Medical, and then everything in between. Any dentist
a
or
10-mile
doctor
radius is large.
is large.
Yeah.
It's large.
And he does an incredible job juggling. So I will when those people go. And so it's so much easier to get dropped off at the front door than try to park sometimes
And then
or
have to
valet and walk
and
that. Yes.
That's yes.
So then we have a day that's just open. If we haven't been to where you want, then that's where you go that day. So it works very well with those without a car or moving here from out of the city. That makes a huge difference.
To be closer to the kids, you're moving from out of town.
Exactly.
But you still don't know the city. But activities, I want to change wheels. What activities do you offer for the residents?
Oh, my goodness. We we do a lot of exercise. That is true. We focus on balance. Balance is just key to every type of exercise, I think. Charlotte, our activity director, is very young and fun and listens to them. She just listens to what they want to do. They go out to eat every Friday. The theater, this group is a theater, the symphony. We do chair volleyball. Now, when I say that, it's tougher to keep seated in a chair and play volleyball than it is to stand up. So it doesn't mean people are in a chair to have to sit there, but you got to stay in your chair. So it is huge there. So she does. It's just there's all kinds of activities.
Do the chairs have rollers on them?
No.
Oh.
Well, yes, they do. I say that they do. A couple of them do.
Okay.
But yeah, you got to keep there.
You got to get there early.
You got to get early. Yes. Yes. Right. So
got 2
of course,
pools.
we have 2 swimming pools. We actually have a competitive billiard team with us. Our shark is 94 years old. We compete with Preston Place and go out to different billiard places. So not just at the property. So a fun crowd. And then we've also talked with baby boomers. There's a whole different avenue of looking at activities for them. There's technology. There's a lot of things that Charlotte's working on that appeal to everyone that way. But of course, we have bridge and bingo and things like that. So, but we're always changing. I love that about Spectrum. We can change. We are individual, a smaller company. We can change.
Okay, are they playing Pokemon Go?
No, they're not.
Good.
I'm so glad. The balance teacher, yes, would. I don't even want to go there with her.
Okay.
So,
I just had to throw that out. I thought,
Well, Lawana, thanks. We knew today was a hectic day because you had, activities going on there, and you were able to slide off and come in for, the show.
But a phone number. Give the folks your phone number.
Yes.
How to get a hold of you.
Yes, 214-987-0943. And again, just stop in. That I would love to know you're coming to plan some things, but again, just stop in.
Yeah, so folks, if you're online, you can do that. You can just pull up Spectrum Properties, Meadowstone Place on Stone Canyon, in Dallas. Call Dan or I.
Yeah, we'll give you the numbers and
they'll bring you over and have lunch.
we can do that too. Yes.
We've been there many
That's
times in
right.
that capacity.
Yes,
so,
we have.
Dan, let's give out our number.
Yes,
for
and
our office.
if you need to get a hold of us, our office number is 214-987-2438. We can give you Lawana's detail. We can give you Renee's out at Preston Place, and Valerie's still
over
at
at
Park Place. So we know the folks there real well, and we highly recommend them.
Yeah, and folks, again, this is one of the options.
It's one of the options.
And but if you haven't seen it, you should. And I've got to say this because we've had so many different opportunities to speak, but we would sometimes see people coming back several times.
Yes.
Okay, they would come to the little seminars that were being done. They would have their lunch, and it was kind of like have they not made a decision yet? What's going on? But it's a big decision.
It's a big decision.
And you can take time to make that decision.
Yeah.
But you need to start the process.
The national average is 7 years from the time you start thinking about it till you move in.
Wow.
So it is a long process.
See, folks, some of you aren't that far behind.
No.
We've been a little, I think we probably moved it up faster with our real estate market right now, but that's the average.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming in, folks.
Thank you.
Lawana Dance with Meadowstone Place, Spectrum Properties. Call Dan and I. We'll make sure you have the ability to communicate with her. And we will be right back in just a moment.
Dan and John are more than mere realtors. They are trusted advisors, not only about matters of real estate, but also about the issues that seniors find attached to their real estate. Years of experience have left them with a wealth of knowledge about so many of the issues that go along with selling or buying a home. But if they don't have the answer to your particular question, they surely know someone who does. House need a few repairs before going on the market? Dan and John will connect you with a network of professionals who can help. Have a question about mortgages? You will certainly find a loan officer among their network who will answer your questions. When listening to the media often leaves you more confused than ever, KAAM's Dan and John will explain things in a way that you understand. Whether you are looking to buy, sell, or both, call Dan and John today at 214-987-2438 and make our guys your trusted advisors.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Borland.
And John Cowan with you.
Last segment here this afternoon of Your Home, Your Choice. We're glad you're with us and hope you have enjoyed visiting with Lawana Dance at Meadowstone. I think it was great information. And if you've got a question that you would like to ask us or Lawana, give us a call here at the studio. We've still got some time left, 972-445-0770.
Or if you're outside the Metroplex, 877-272-5226. And Dan, we are with Ultra Realty. Okay, we are located in Richardson, and folks, just like we mentioned the first part of the show, when one of the listeners called and asked if we could assist, a friend up in Oklahoma, we can in a different way, in that we won't be there specifically, maybe in another state.
Our license doesn't work in Oklahoma; it only works in Texas.
Yeah, and really, the proper way is to get you with someone, a local expert,
That's correct.
just like we are.
Yeah.
Okay, but give us the opportunity to help in that process.
Sure.
And just as we did, we made a phone call, and
Because we'll do some vetting, and if we don't like them, we're not going to recommend them.
Yep.
That's
And,
bottom line.
And so anyway, but I think that sort of help can be beneficial, because again, you've got a local, knowledgeable individual, but yet someone who is of the mindset we are, a senior real estate specialist.
And not every realtor is.
No.
But that's okay. There's one size doesn't fit all. But John, we've got a passion of what we do, that we may go, I won't say overboard. That's not the right word, but we take that extra step for our clients that have the need.
Well, okay, let's do this. Lawana, you're still here in the studio with us. That caller asked me, well, what's the difference? I mean, what do you do different? Okay, what does that senior real estate thing mean? You might put that into different words, because you've you've seen realtors. Okay, I mean, there's just a lot of different folks out there, and so, what are your thoughts?
You know ahead of time what they're feeling. I think that as a realtor, as a senior realtor, this in what they need as far as in their housing, in their moving, in the emotions today, as you saw the one moving today and came in tears, been in her house for 24 years. You understand all that. And I think in that it's just a different age group. That's what we deal with. But you understand those feelings that maybe they too have not done anything with their house for some time. So we do this. This is our passion, as he said. We want people who understand this group. We all work together.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and folks, it's one of the things that I explained, to the party I was talking to is we're also part of a network. It's a national network.
It is.
Okay, we can pick up the phone, we can call a realtor in another state. He will have a special mover that's used to moving someone in these sort of circumstances. He will have a surrounding group of professionals.
But it's
a
local
team,
for his market.
local there, just like we have here. So if it's the attorney that specializes in elder care, if it's probate, whatever the situation is, and Dan, you and I have to go back to maintain our license, and we have to have education
We have to have CE hours.
and for the senior real estate specialist designation, there's a lot of things there too. But as someone was asking me, well, how do you do that? What's going on? And so it's just we're more in tune. We're
right.
thinking more about what those needs are going forward. So when you do have a conversation with Lawana, you're going to have an idea of what to expect. You're not going to go in there blind. And but I was sitting in a class, I think it was last year, and most of us in the class were maybe our age, Dan. I mean, we're in that group.
Oh, okay.
But there was a young lady, I'll never forget this, sitting across the room. She, I think, was recently licensed as a realtor. She was in her 20s.
Okay.
And the instructor singled her out. And he said, I'm sorry, I've just got to ask, okay, why are you in here trying to, get your senior real estate, specialist designation? And she said, well, I have a grandmother, and so she had reasons, okay?
Right.
But, and he said, this will be interesting to see how this works for you because you may or may not necessarily
Relate.
okay?
That's the key.
The communication capability. I'll never forget one of my 90-year-olds said, we interviewed other realtors, but you were the one that we felt comfortable talking to. The way that you communicated, okay? And so, folks, it's not about that. It's just about we get it, okay?
Right.
And so whether we've helped our family, whether
right.
we've already gone through those experiences, whether we have worked closely with folks like Lawana, Dan and I are of age, okay? And so pick up the phone,
Yes.
call us, and
Been
ask
there,
us
done that, and
questions.
have the T-shirt, as they say.
Yeah. And but I don't have someone watching my sprinklers. I don't have
There you go.
someone.
No, I don't either.
So
Fixing your
some
food.
great
That's
services.
right.
So
I like that delivery service.
Yes,
That's
there
sort
you
of,
go.
you know what? Let's touch on a couple other things, Dan, because this is really important. I think, Lawana, if someone came into an independent community, okay, and then they started having other needs, okay, what do they do?
That has been one of my key things. I'm a daughter. My parents live in Oklahoma, getting ready to turn 80. And Medicare, for one thing, for me, I am the oldest of 5, take care of everything, which the oldest child does a lot. Looking outward into what I needed, there is a group that we work with. There hasn't been anything I can stump him with, but moving in, what we found is key too is you need a doctor the day you get here. If you needed a prescription, to save you going to minor emergency, the group we work with will get a doctor set up ahead of time. Doesn't have to remain your primary care doctor, but it gets done. You need a little home health. Moving is traumatic for anyone, but for a senior, sometimes someone just to talk to, there's a little bit need there sometimes. We've got groups we reached out, just today, a nurse that we have that comes in for blood pressure checks. She's just an unbelievably kind person as well as knowledgeable, and just has a knack with people and was able to sit there today with just talking about moving and going forward, what this lady may need. Her family's not here. I look at that. So in working with this group, we've put together anything we can think of that may be needed, and especially putting at mind the children, for me, putting at ease that there is something else there and helping them learn a little bit more. The baby boomers are very busy and haven't always been with their parents either to be as close to them when they move in. So it is an interesting interesting change in living when your parent moves closer, but then also to worry about medical needs or things like that. So
yeah, that was the leading question, folks, was we knew the answer. We wanted you to know what the answer was, because if you needed some initial home health care, okay, and Medicare does pay for some of those services, that can be done. If it gets to a certain point, you may have to require different types of services that you may not be able to call in. But there's a lot of flexibility here. And one of your communities, Park Place, that's a different situation altogether. You could literally go, down the hall, so to speak, and
see the
be
doctor.
in more or less assisted living, right?
Yes.
You could go
something
from
like
independent to assisted. So again, the options, I think, is what's important. So because this is a decision that you're not going to take lightly.
It's a big decision.
And when you do that move, and in the middle of summer, you're going to remember that. You're going to say, I don't think I'm going to do that.
That's right. I'm moving
again,
August
right?
again, except this August. Yes.
So you want to make a good choice. And I think it's a choice that doesn't have to be a permanent choice.
That is a key
right?
too. I get it. You think you're here you can be here. You're here a year. You have other options from there. If it does come to the point that they do need a higher level of care, I work with children. I've got so many referral people that help, that actually sit down with them too. They've visited these other places. They know where they need to be. So it's all about knowing who to call to get them in there to help, and that's what we've tried very hard.
The next step.
Exactly, the next step. Right.
When and if they need it.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure you have residents that have been with you guys
17 years.
17 years. Long
yes,
time.
Long time.
And they're just, as I used to tell to my mother-in-law, she's happy as a clam where she was.
Yeah, and she's healthy, and she's out doing activities, and that's where I think our staff watches and listens, and we know who to, physical therapists are tremendous.
Right.
We have the ones we know do very well with these people. They understand our community too at the same time.
So there's
and that's
the word.
Important.
Again, the community aspect, and folks, the team. Of what Dan and I surround ourselves with, people like Spectrum Properties, and that you can reach out to us if there is a need, and that we know what's going on.
We know where you're coming from.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a team that we're talking about. And so, folks, pick up the phone, call Lawana, call Dan or I, get more information, and start early. 7 years in the process,
7
possibly.
years. Come on in before then.
Some people take 7 days to make this decision.
That is
Unfortunately,
true.
though, because they may have an urgent circumstance,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
And don't put yourself in that position. Know ahead of time. Be preemptive, like Dan and I always talk about. And
there's nothing wrong with taking a look, so
Exactly.
know you may not be doing anything for 3, 4, 5, 7 years, but taking a look is, at least you have the process started. It's not cold turkey.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up, one more time, slowly, your number, please.
214-987-0943.
And folks, it's very similar to ours, 214-987-2438. Okay, so pick up the phone, call us. Thank you for being there. Lawana, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And folks, remember, it's all about what your options are. It's your home. It's your choice. It's your options going forward. We thank you for being there. Till next week.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Choice with Dan and John. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday at 1 for more ideas here on KAAM.
The views expressed in the preceding program were those of the speakers and not necessarily those of KAAM, DJRD Broadcasting.